Hello my dear student, welcome to biology. We are learning chapter 2 biological classification, and in our last class we have came to know about kingdom Monera. So my dear student, we have learned that kingdom Monera is broadly classified into two groups. Number 1 group is known as Archaebacteria or ancient bacteria, and about Archaebacteria we have learned. And number second group is known as eubacteria or true bacteria. So my dear student, today let's learn about eubacteria, which is commonly known as true bacteria. Okay, eubacteria are classified into two groups. So my dear student, as true bacteria, the number is as the number identified is numerous. Okay, so various true bacteria have been identified. So to learn them properly, what happened, eubacteria are again classified into two groups. Number 1 group is known as bacteria. Okay, so now you came to know that whenever we say in general bacteria, okay, but bacteria also have different classification, isn't it? So this eubacteria or the true bacteria, the first group is known as only bacteria. Okay, and second group is known as cyanobacteria. Okay my dear student, so eubacteria or true bacteria has two groups. Number 1 group is known as bacteria and number second group is known as cyanobacteria. So now let us learn about bacteria. Bacteria were first observed by Anton von Leeuwenhoek in 1675. So my dear student, this name bacteria, we can say, was this term bacteria was first given by Anton von Leeuwenhoek in 1675. So my dear student, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he was also, we can say, a biologist, and in his lab, okay, so biologist, we can say he was a scientist. Okay, he was learning about physics also, and he was very fond of different types of instrument and that. So in his lab, he was doing some experiment on some instrument like microscope. So he invented his own microscope. Okay, then in his lab, for the first time after his invention, so after any invention, okay, so now he want to check that whether his microscope was working properly or not, isn't it? So whenever, for example, whenever you bring any mobile phone or camera, okay, let's take the example of camera. So when you bring your camera, okay, what you will do, you want to click the photo, isn't it? So after clicking the photo only you will come to know, okay, this is working properly. So similarly, what happened, Anton von Leeuwenhoek in his lab, what happened, he was inventing a microscope. So he invented a microscope, and now he want to test the microscope that whether it is working properly or not. Then what he did, in his lab, what happened, water was there. So one drop of water, what he did, he placed on the stage of that microscope, and he was observing that one drop of water. So in that drop he have seen some of the small, okay, very small microorganism, clear, and then he named that bacteria. So this is how we cannot say that intentionally he did the experiment and then what happened, bacteria was discovered, or bacteria, the name was given to this microorganism. So these all were accidental, we can say, discovery. So this is how Anton von Leeuwenhoek in 1675 he for the first time gave this organism named bacteria. Okay, I hope that, so this story is very interesting, isn't it? So this is how bacteria name was given. So my dear student, now let us know some of the characteristics of bacteria, some of the characters of bacteria. So number one character of bacteria is bacteria are microscopic unicellular organism. So my dear student, whenever you hear about bacteria, what comes in your mind? That it is very small, isn't it? So microscopic means what happen with our naked eye, that means with our own eye we cannot see the bacteria. Okay, so to see the bacteria, what happen, we required an instrument help, and that instrument is microscope. So through microscope you can see the bacteria, because microscope is such an instrument which can magnify the object. That means whatever thing is very small, it can show in a very large image. Okay, so bacteria are microscopic, that means very small and unicellular organism. Always you should remember that bacteria are unicellular, that means single celled organism. Okay, so today you came to know that bacteria are microscopic unicellular organism. The next characteristics of bacteria is they are prokaryotic organism, and we know that bacteria falls under the kingdom of Monera, and all the individuals in these kingdoms are what? Prokaryotic. That means they don't have any true nucleus present at their cell. Okay, so because of which they are known as prokaryotic organism. Okay, then my dear student, the third character is bacteria cell wall is composed of polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. So bacterial cell wall is composed of, or bacterial cell wall is made up of what? Polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. So this point is very much important, my dear students. So you just keep in your mind that bacterial cell wall is made up of polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. So mucopolypeptide. So this is a type of, we can say, compound, that is, or we can say the material that is present in bacterial cell wall. So sometime in your previous year question paper also you may find that bacterial cell wall is made up of dash. So they will give some fill in the blanks, or bacterial cell wall is made up of dash. So likewise some fill in the blanks are there in previous year question paper, you may go through. So this point is very much important, we should know. So the bacterial cell wall is made up of polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. So these are the three characteristics of bacteria. So number one, we have seen that bacteria are microscopic unicellular organism. Second, we have seen that they are prokaryotic organism, and third, we have seen that bacterial cell wall is composed of polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. Then my dear student, number fourth point character is most of the members, that means most of the individuals of bacteria, or most of the bacteria are saprophytes. That means what do you mean by saprophytes? Organism that live on garbage or in the decaying thing or in the dead thing, and they extract food from that dead bodies. Okay, maybe dead plants, dead animals, so anything that that have died, and on that substance what happened, they can extract the food, and because of which they are known as saprophytic. So most of the members of bacteria are saprophytic. Some are parasites and some are parasite. That means some can live on living body, and they can live on the living body, extract food from the living body. So because of which they are known as parasites. Okay, and few are autotrophs, and few of them are autotrophs. That means few of them can prepare their own food like plant. Clear? So this is also a very important point. We should know that bacteria, what happen, they are saprophytes, they are parasites, and even they are, some are autotrophs also. Okay. Now let us see some of the example of bacteria. So one group is known as nitrogen fixing bacteria. So my dear student, one group of bacteria are named as nitrogen fixing bacteria. That means they help in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in the root of the plant. Now we know that Okay, in our atmosphere, what happened? The percentage of nitrogen is the highest one, isn't it? But it is very unfortunate that we cannot take that nitrogen directly, or neither the plant. So to fix that atmospheric nitrogen, okay, first the plant will have that nitrogen, and then they will make the utilization of nitrogen, okay, then only we animal can get. So there, this is the nitrogen cycle. I hope that you have learned in your earlier classes. So there, what happened, this group of bacteria are playing a very important role. Okay, now nitrogen fixing bacteria are the group of bacteria that helps in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil or in the root of the plant. Okay, so my dear student, here are some example of nitrogen fixing bacteria. So some pictures are also available, so you can see here. So number one example is Azotobacteria. So Azotobacteria, you may see that picture is shown how it looks. Okay, then Azotobacteria, it is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, so you should know that. So this nitrogen fixing bacteria, these are useful bacteria. They are useful for plants, okay, and indirectly they are useful for us also. Okay, so these are useful to the plants and indirectly useful to us. That means these are useful bacteria. Okay, so Azotobacteria, then Azotospirillum. Okay, so next you can see, then Clostridium, then Bacillus. So these all are the example of nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, so I hope that with the help of this picture, your idea will be more clear. Okay, then my dear student, next example is nitrifying bacteria. So nitrifying bacteria, what they are doing, they are converting the soil ammonia into nitrates. Okay, so in nitrogen cycle, this group of bacteria is playing an important role. Okay, and nitrifying bacteria example are Nitrobacteria and Nitrosomonas. There are various example, but these two example we can see that Nitrobacteria and Nitrosomonas. So you may see this picture, and this picture may clarify you. Now you may see in the picture, these are very large okay size. You may think that bacteria are so big in size, but these bacteria are microscopic. Okay, these are magnified image of bacteria. Okay, so under the microscope they are magnified. Okay, some are 10 times, 65 times, 100 times magnification. More than 100 times magnification are also seen in the picture. Clear? So my dear student, these are known as bacteria. Okay, so we have seen that bacteria, some example we have seen. One group is nitrogen fixing bacteria, another is nitrifying bacteria. Now my dear student, through bacteria, the second group is known as cyanobacteria, and cyanobacteria is commonly known as blue-green algae. So you don't be confused that this blue-green algae, it is not plant, but they are Monera. Okay, cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria, these are commonly known as blue-green algae. Now my dear student, let us know some of the characteristics of this group. Cyanobacteria are unicellular. So cyanobacteria are unicellular, that means single cell, colonial or filamentous. Okay, they may be colonial or filamentous. Aquatic habitat as well as moist environment. So they can live totally in aquatic or in moist environment. Okay, in terrestrial, if some moist, that means wetted place are there also they can be formed, but flagella is absent. So in this cyanobacteria, what happened? Flagella is absent. Whereas in bacteria, you have seen some flagella are there in their body. So when you see the picture, you can see some small rope-like structures are there. So that are known as flagella. But in this cyanobacteria, what happened? Flagella are absent. Okay, so cyanobacteria, they are unicellular, colonial or filamentous, aquatic habitat, or maybe they are moist environment. They may be found in moist environment, and flagella are absent. Now, cyanobacteria cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan. So, my dear student, in bacteria we have seen that bacterial cell wall is composed of polysaccharide and mucopolypeptide. Okay, that material is different. Whereas in cyanobacteria, cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan. This word you should keep in your mind. Okay, peptidoglycan. Then, my dear student, photosynthesis is seen in this group. This group, what happened? Total they can show photosynthesis due to the presence of chlorophyll. So, as chlorophyll is present in their, we can say in their body, because of which they can show photosynthesis. So, my dear student, the main pigments, okay, main pigments, when we say pigments means in any organism, okay, especially in cyanobacteria, when we talk about the pigments, that means we are talking about the chlorophyll. Okay, so the main pigments or chlorophyll are of three types. Number one is chlorophyll A. Okay, if chlorophyll A is present, then that structure, or that if chlorophyll A is present, then it is green in color. Okay, now if in any blue green, okay, that green color, if the structure is somehow green, that means what is present there? Chlorophyll A. Then the second pigment is C-phycocyanin. So if C-phycocyanin, that means C-phycocyanin or chlorophyll phycocyanin is present, then that will be color will be blue in color, and C-phycoerythrin if present, then it will be red in color. Okay, so these three pigments are found in cyanobacteria. Clear? Now let us see that example. So two examples are mentioned here, nostoc and Anabaena. So my dear student, for your competitive exam also, this point is very much important, that in cyanobacteria or in blue-green algae, what are the three types of chlorophyll or pigments that are present. So chlorophyll A means green in color, then C-phycocyanin. C-phycocyanin means what? Cyanin means blue. Okay, and C-phycoerythrin. Erythrin means red. Okay, so these are the three pigments that are present in blue-green algae. So two example, nostoc and Anabaena. So here two pictures shown. Nostoc, you may see how their structures looks, and there is no any flagella or rope-like structure in their body. Okay, and Anabaena, can you see? These are magnified image of this organism. Clear? So I hope that with this you have understood cyanobacteria. So my dear student, with this kingdom Monera we have completed, and I hope that you have understood, and with this picture I hope that your doubt is also clear. So don't be confused, these are magnified image. Okay, so under the microscope this picture have been taken, and these are magnified. Clear? So with this today's let's end here.